Good evening, Misfits. 21.2 is 17.1. This guy just waxed Sherb again, and now he gets to help me show you guys how to do the movements that he's probably not super excited about getting back into.
Let's do some more.
We are going to talk about efficiency tips. We're going to talk about how to warm up. Then we're going to head into the studio and do the full breakdown. When it comes to warm up, competition day, we want that sweat check first. Get into the gym or go to the machine in your house and get on it and just ride it until you start to get sweaty, start to get loose, then start to work on your mobility stuff. This workout very specifically needs a primer. You absolutely need to have that first sweat check. Heart rate gets up a little bit, but then we need to get it even higher before the workout so you don't feel shocked at any point during the workout. We are suggesting 3 rounds, 10/7 assault bike calories, 12 kettlebell swings. On the assault bike, we are looking for what we call pyramid pacing. You go pretty hard in the first one, really hard in the second one, and then back off a little bit again in that third one. When it comes to the transitions and the kettlebell swings, don't need to necessarily push that. That's in there to get that hinging in, to get the blood flow, so you can continue that mobility a little bit after, rest 5 to 10 minutes as the heart rate comes back down, and then get into the workout. When it comes to the movements in this workout, there isn't a ton that goes into maybe make or break like some of the higher skill movements, but when you have things to think about, you have things to work on, you move a little bit more efficiently, and you can keep the demons at bay when it comes to your mental game. So when it comes to the dumbbell snatch, we actually just saw it a little bit with Sherb if you watched the live. You gotta make sure that on the way down, you know what sort of mobility that you have, and you get at least some leg bends. You can get a tiny bit of leg drive on the way up and actually use your hips. So Hunter, I'm only gonna make him do one. He's gonna get that dumbbell up overhead right now. And then as he is passing the dumbbell back across his hips and his waist, he is just gonna make sure that he gets some leg bend in there. Now this position right here might look, you can go ahead and stand up, you're good. That position right there might look nice and easy for him because he has that good mobility through his hamstrings and his lower back. If you do not have that, you need to get a little bit lower. That is okay. Your back pumping out in this workout is not going to be fun at all. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about the burpee box jump over. We're gonna give one tip for sort of both directions here. See a lot of people that, you know, especially bigger athletes that move too much when it comes to the burpee in any form, and especially this one. So Hunter is going to do his burpee and actually stop on top of the box, but what I want you to notice is he's gonna stay as low as he can. He's not gonna move his mass around in a bunch of different directions that he doesn't have to, that he's not going to get credit for. So he comes down here, he stays low, he jumps up onto the box. You can actually go back down. We'll make him do a second one. So as you see there, he stays low. He doesn't have to stand all the way up before he jumps. He does not have to jump super high. He's picking his legs up, really trying to be efficient there because this stuff is going to add up. On the back side, make sure you are working on your footwork, know exactly what your footwork is. I'm going to show you what we suggest. Slight variations are not a big deal, but what we want is the same thing over and over. We want repeatable sets so that you feel comfortable when it starts to get really nasty. So as he jumps up onto the box this time, make him do another burpee here. As he jumps up onto the box, he is going to be facing the side of the box, and then he's going to step across, pivot, and then he would go back down into his next burpee. And again, slight variations are not a big deal here. What we are looking for is repeatability. So again, we're looking for that sweat check. We're looking for that primer. We want to stay efficient in these movements. We want to have things to think about. We do not want to pump out our back. Let's head into the studio and keep talking about it.
Hey everyone, welcome to the studio. Welcome to the full Misfit Athletics 21.2 breakdown. Before we get into it, we are going to have a little bit of fun here, give away some stuff, do some housekeeping items. Drum roll, Sherb. We have the brand spanking new misfitathletics.com that will be loading on your browsers Sunday. We will be down for a couple of hours Saturday afternoon so we can get everything switched over, make sure everything's working well. So if you are on the website Saturday afternoon and wondering what the heck is going on, we have some really cool stuff that will be waiting for you when it comes back up. Sherb sweats too much for him to really finish this promo. But if you saw the dope-ass shirt that he was wearing in the workout, it did not save his lower back, but it made him look pretty good at the beginning. For you to be able to see it, you know, in the workout. So we are doing a buy one, get one free sale, sharpentheaxecode.com, of the Misfit print series shirts. This bad boy I'm wearing right here, Hunter's got one on right now. You can mix and match. You can go men's product, women's product, tees, tanks, crops, all that good stuff. Little 21.2 celebration. We're going to keep thinking of some cool stuff like that throughout the rest of the Open, but sharpentheaxecode.com, buy one, get one free Misfit print series. The Misfit Takeover 2021 leaderboard. If you've been living under a rock and you haven't gone into your games profile and put hashtag Misfit Takeover 2021 in so you can be on our leaderboard. We're going to be giving away some free stuff and giving some shout outs every week. So without further ado, we will be reading off the top 25 women from week 1, and then we'll be giving away some free shit through a random drawing. I apologize in advance if I do not say your name right. If I giggle, it's because I'm nervous. It's not because I'm making fun of anyone's name. So here we go. Sonia Mori, Lauren Weeks, Kenzie Riley, Lexi Colabianchi, Paige Semenza, Miriam Hazlitt, Shaylin Lohr, Sophie Shaft, Caitlin O'Leary, Catherine Sanburn, Alexis Johnson, Shelby Kenville, Kate Gosling, Hannah Hardy, Lindsay Lee, Caroline Connors, Tara Greenwell, Ashley Trendell, Miria Pavlova, Allison Carley, Michaela Mayer, Aaron Vandendriesch, Jenna Michelotti, Claire Bays, Michelle Mailer. Top 25. Nice work in week 1. Misfits. Now the names go into the lucky for one person green STA hat that you can find at sharpentheaxecode.com. Use the code Kiala to save and donate. One of you pick one.
All right. Too slow, Hunter.
Don't cheat, dude. Don't look. Come on.
Is it me?
Yes. And the winner is
Michaela Mayer.
Hey. Michaela Mayer. Congrats. Congratulations.
Send you some crap. What?
Jeez, Hunter. Please email Jen, Jenn, with 2 N's, at misfitathletics.com with your sizes, name, address, all that good stuff so we can get you a gear pack out. Now on to the gentlemen tied for first place, Dmitry Zotov and Brady Fluid. Got to give a little shout out to our boy Brady Fluid. Brady is in his first Open. Brady is 17 years old, and Brady is probably... He's 18 now?
Just turned 18, yeah.
Wow, he's 18. He's too old. I shouldn't have given him a shout-out.
What an idiot.
There's a pretty good chance that he is going to beat you. He's definitely going to beat both of you. He's going to beat you in 21.2 as well. Pretty good chance. He likes those movements. Actually, there's a video of him and Sherb on those movements on our YouTube channel that you could check out. He
we'll make
moved.
him use the 70.
Yeah, he's got to use the 70, and he's got a 36-inch box.
Still not a chance.
All right, so to continue down the list from Dimitri and Brady, we have Holly Holgerson, Roy Gamboa, Pebble Wood.
I'm so happy.
Dude, I honestly just read that because it was, I'm not lying. It says Pebble Wood. We were joking earlier that sounds like a golf course. Our man Pebble Wood sitting across from me right now.
Don't point at me.
I'm just reading.
Don't patronize me.
I'm like Ron Burgundy, Ryan Breetag, Jake Julian,
it doesn't say Pebble on the sheet.
Yeah, look at 5. Pebble Wood.
Pebble, bro.
I honestly was thinking to myself, that's a weird name, but I didn't want to say.
God.
I'm not even kidding.
It's on the teleprompter.
Timothy Everhart, George Regas, Stephen Milanese, Sherb.
Yo.
Wait, so is this Jen's fault?
Alex Carrillo, yes. Alberto Arredondo Sanchez, Dylan Cannon, Sean Scott, Seamus Keating, Zachary Greer, Mickey Brooks, Pebble Wood, again, was number 5. Jalen Franklin, Jake Willette, Johnny Lane Ball, Josh Mattis, Justin LaSala, Justin Reidelbach, and David Blatt. Nice work, gentlemen. All right, for the lucky green hat, we will let the Pebble do the honors here.
Draw the Pebble.
I can't believe that I didn't know that was you.
Do the grip test.
Oh, that's true. My goodness.
Can't. Too tired.
Same. I hope it's Pebble. Zachary Greer.
Zachary Greer. Nice work. Congratulations. Email Jen, Jenn, 2 N's, at misfitathletics.com. Name, sizes, address, all that good stuff. All right. I screwed up, guys. I really screwed up. We're supposed to begin every podcast. We've been doing it forever for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, that was like housekeeping. So
Forever.
Yeah, that was
the start of the
housekeeping.
podcast.
We still have more, but we're gonna break that up.
Oh, we
and-
do?
Yeah,
I
sure.
thought we were done.
Always comes in last and everything, so he goes first.
You're up next week, bro.
That looked like it
You see him put his hand? Oh, he's gonna lose, and he put his hand on the
What'd you
table.
get?
144.
144.
Cody Foe.
156.4.
Jesus.
It's gonna be the same every week.
Softer than puppy shit. You were in like the 170s last time, I thought.
I've never hit 170.
You can't even.
174.
Get
Where's
outta
Cody?
here. You can't even.
Where's Cody?
I think that was the same I hit last time.
I need chalk in here.
All right, back to the housekeeping. I am the strongest owner of Misfit Athletics, and we're definitely not giving that thing to Ted.
Ted, here we go.
All right, the Ramwad giveaway, big giveaway of the week. We have 6-month subscription to Ramwad and 2 Ramwad mats. The mats are.
Just snaps it in half.
I win. Yes. No, you're not the strongest owner. All right. So
All right, yeah.
Ramwad gave us a fantastic prize. 6 months, 2 of their fancy mats. I don't know if you guys have ever used one of these things. They are amazing.
Those are the thick boys,
yeah, those are that's the primo.
I don't
That's
even
not the
have one
like
of those.
WeBuyMats.com that you get on Amazon.
Dude, We Buy Mats is awesome.
If anybody wants to know, that's where we got our mats. It's WeSellMats.com. Every video someone asks about our mats.
You're about to get muted. So the winner is Nick Daquano. Congratulations, Nick. Nice work. Please email, and this one is different, podcast@misfitathletics.com to claim your prize. I feel like if you email Jen, she's probably also going to make sure that you get your prize. So maybe, CC Jen, CC Sherb, whatever you got to do. Podcast@misfitathletics.com to claim your prize. Shout out to the Ramwad team for the 6-month subscription and the super fancy, cool mats. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm going to say something. You keep your eyes out for the next prize.
Huge.
We're going big for the next prize at Misfit Athletics on the grams.
Is that the thing?
Shh. Nope. No, we're not going to talk about it. All right, guys, gentlemen.
Yep.
21.2.
Yeah.
It was a repeat.
Yeah.
It was 17.1. It's the advent of the dumbbell snatch, right? No one knew what to do. People were throwing dumbbells all over the gym because they couldn't imagine being able to, change hands
Onto it.
with that video. The
coordination.
video of Vellner and Fikowski is kind of hilarious.
I'm pretty sure they still beat us.
Well, of course they did, yes.
I mean, they had like it was good times that like a good
yeah.
time then. And then they
So,
went like a minute.
let's just brief breakdown. Hunter v. Sherb. Your back kind of pumped out on you a little bit, and you were getting trolled for your technique on Instagram.
Well,
You're
no.
you're so used to having that incredible hinge ability that you let yourself stay in that position even when your back started to hurt.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem, in addition to just hinging at the waist, was my feet were too narrow, so I didn't have enough room to even push my knees out a little bit. So
Right.
when your femur runs into your pelvis, you round your back gets tight, and you land in a crouch position, which I did for every single burpee box jump that I did. That combination of trying to brace and then landing tucked is just a recipe for a blown up back, and that definitely happened. Felt pretty good through the 15 burpee box jumps that came after the 30 dumbbell snatches, but then the workout was basically over for me in terms of feeling good and being able to move steady the entire time, because I remember last time I did this, I moved a little bit slower in the burpee box jump overs, but I didn't break up the dumbbell snatch, and I had to today just because my back was killing me.
You were able to knock off 30, 40 seconds, something like that from 2017.
Yeah, it was like 35 seconds or so, which wasn't. It hurt a lot more than I remember. I was telling Gabe I finished the like second to last set of burpee box jump overs, looked at the clock, and I was like, I remember this is one of those workouts where there's some dude with an insane engine came out of the woodwork and I think set like the world record in like the low, like upper nines.
He was very
And I
young.
like,
He was very young too. He was
And
like
I was
19 or
pretty
20.
I was like, oh yeah, I'm like 50 burpee box jump overs or 50 snatches and 15 jump overs away from finishing in a minute. But I was hurting for sure. That 40 seconds, I paid for that.
So one of the things we
That.
talked about out there was you both went out pretty hot in this workout. But there's something to what happens with the cadence of the dumbbell snatch. So it's not to say that you want to light your hair on fire at the beginning of this workout, but it's also not to say that you don't settle into it a little bit. And, one of the things that you mentioned was maybe when you start to really feel your gas in the dumbbell snatches, that's when you know that you're going to have to get your burpee pacing really nailed in. But before that, it's not necessarily a freebie, but you can go a little bit harder.
Yeah, I think you can. Sorry. I think definitely don't go out too hot. We were joking. We kind of Sherb was like, I made a mistake and I tried to run your race, and I was like, I was running your race because we were like one for one on the burpee box jump overs, and I thought I was like, you had actually beaten me in 2018 or 17 when it was out, but I was a little bit worried because I knew I would have to break up, or I thought I would have to break up the snatches, but I was able to. Once I hit about 15 or 20 snatches out of the 30, I realized it didn't get any worse on the snatches. Similar with the 40, it sucked. You pick up the dumbbell, the first 20, you're pretty gassed, and then just kind of the natural rhythm of the dumbbell, you're not at that point in the workout, you're not pulling the dumbbell down. It's not one of those kind of workouts. So if you can kind of maybe you find that hump with the dumbbell where you realize it's not getting any worse, you can hold on. And then in that next set, that's where I kind of I couldn't bring my heart rate down enough in those dumbbell snatches, which is why I had to break it up. But I definitely, it's also not one of those workouts to me where I was going to speed up. I wasn't going to be I'm going to go out conservative, save a little bit in the tank and send it. Maybe I could have done the 15 burpee box jump overs faster, but I don't think it would have balanced itself out.
I'm thinking about this workout. It's very similar to last week's workout where athletes are probably going to retest it. And those athletes that are consistent on how they move every single dumbbell snatch and how they move through every single burpee box jump has to be the same, essentially until you get to the last 15 where you light your hair on fire and just try to finish the workout. But, we watched athletes last week on 21.1 really struggle with their first attempt because they hadn't been familiar with the movement. So they didn't know what their cadence was like, how many steps take to the wall, how many steps take forward. That type of methodology and that type of thought process should be your thought process when you're working through 21.2, because if you are inconsistent with how you move the dumbbell snatch or how you move through the burpee box jump overs, you're going to blow up early. And I think that's something that definitely happened to me today, not being as methodical and thinking about when moving through the dumbbell snatch, there's really only one speed to move through that movement. And if you can stay within yourself, you can actually breathe and sort of recover so that you can keep your burpee pace consistent across all 5 rounds versus being very fast like I was for the first couple rounds and then not being consistent with the dumbbell snatch where I could breathe and calm down. And it paid, I paid for it later on because I couldn't keep that same burpee cadence. And I don't know if you watched around the 4th set, started popping straight up on the burpees, jumping, landing, facing away from the box, having to do a full 180 and coming back over the box. So definitely, think how you move kind of workout.
Yeah, in the dumbbell snatches, I think it's worth mentioning that if you're the type of person who would just love it if a deadlift was always just a couple more inches off the ground, you really got to take that into consideration in this workout, because when you're tilting your wrist and touching the head of the dumbbell down versus having it, stay stacked and touch both heads of the dumbbell, that's a different movement. And it's weird because if you don't have that issue, if you're really able to hinge, you probably don't have the same sort of feeling about this. But there's a lot of CrossFit athletes, that have that, either super tight positioning or maybe they're just a little bit smaller. There's not really enough room to get down there. It's going to be really important that you don't pump out your back, because if you do pump out your back, you're kind of screwed anyways. So I think that, obviously it's the luxury, it's a dumbbell, you don't have to really, think too much about how your knees get out of the way or anything like that, like you would with a barbell, either with a, Olympic lift or a deadlift or anything like that. So you're able to put the dumbbell between your legs and use as much of your legs as you need to. Now, obviously, if you did like a full squat down into that position, it would make the burpee box jump overs very much fun. But it's definitely worth mentioning. Before we move on to the burpee box jump overs, who should be breaking up their dumbbell snatches in this workout on purpose and who shouldn't?
I would try to hold on for pretty much as long as you can. Like I said, when I hit that line where I knew I only put it down because I had to. I was I was redlining pretty good, and I was like, I'm gonna die if I keep doing. I honestly, like, there's definitely an aspect of mental toughness. Like, are you gonna fail a 50-pound dumbbell snatch or a 35-pound snatch? Like, probably not. I was definitely hurting. So I would try to hold on. If it's obviously, like, don't go past that red line unless you're wrapping up the set of 50 and it's like, just put your head down and go. But I would recommend trying to hold on as long as you're not redlining.
Yeah, the only advice I'd have for someone who maybe is like the hatchet, Misfit Anywhere kind of follower who's, loves the programming, jumps in, but realizes that if they try to hang on for a set of like 30 in the middle of the workout, that the workout's basically over at that point. My recommendation is always try to get over halfway. That way, if you're in a set of 30, you get to like, 18 or 20, you have less work left in the remaining set, and that allows you to stay moving because the burpees are a time warp. If you start to move inefficiently and walk away from your box in every single rep and then have to turn around and walk back, you easily add 30, 40, a minute, 2 minutes to your workout. Just simple in transitions, turning around to go back over the box.
Yeah, I brought it up just because if you're doing this workout and you're going to break up the dumbbell snatches, you need to, on paper, with your coach, with your workout partner, with your judge, it's like, I'm only putting this thing down at 20 in the 30, 30 in the 40, and 30, 35 in the 50, because you talk about time warp. The craziest time warp of all in the open is resting. You can't rest in the open. Yeah, it doesn't exist. You can't stop. So it has to be strategic. That being said, Medeiros crushed the 50 and then was stopped for, I don't want to say 10 seconds, but he put his elbows on his knees and couldn't drop down into the burpee. And then all of a sudden he flew through the burpees. It was pretty incredible to watch, but he looked like he was shooting for that like world record type thing. And without that gap, he would have been sub 10. And all that means to me is, if you do struggle with the dumbbell snatches, if you know that that's going to be an issue, if he had dropped it, gone like this, it wouldn't have been any different than him waiting through the next one. So again, the problem with that mentality is it doesn't take place in a vacuum. It takes place inside of this terrifying workout. And what Hunter is talking about is important. If you think you can hold on, you have to try, because what is that gap? When are you convincing yourself to pick that thing back up? And if you put it down and you feel just as bad during your rest period, was it worth it to put it down at all?
To pick it back up?
I when I picked it up the second and third time in my set of 50, I was like, this doesn't feel any better.
Yes.
It's like a kettlebell swing, I think. It's like, it sucks while you're doing it, but it almost sucks more to put it down.
Right. Burpee box jump over. It's cool to do the step up style burpee. We, at the beginning of the video here, and the video, that specific video will be released on its own. You've got the footwork element. You've got the, staying repetitive, staying, in that place. How do you guys feel about it in reality? So we talk about it again as this is exactly what you're trying to do, and you guys didn't look exactly the same throughout the entire workout.
Yeah, for me, having done the same movement a couple days ago, just on IG Live, we did one of that vested burpee box jump over workout. Felt really good on that workout with the consistency of the movement, but I didn't have a secondary movement that was really designed to blow up my heart rate like the way the dumbbell snatch did. So for me, in actual practice, as soon as my heart rate got into that uncomfortable zone and my back started to pump out, I definitely changed the technique. So learning how to be consistent and honestly taking your time once you turn around to drop into your burpee, that to me is the deciding factor on how intense the burpee gets. Your footwork should be the same as you step up, jump over, turn around, but how fast you drop into your next one would really dictate how intense that movement is. So if you're someone who's a little bit less familiar with it or you don't have as big an engine, that's how you can effectively pace this movement so that you're not standing all the way up or carrying yourself away from the box. Because again, that is the time warp that occurs when you're moving inefficiently. So for me, it was, feel pretty within myself for the first 3 sets, and then the last 2 were a little bit of a crapshoot. But
yeah, everything you just said is for sure accurate. This is, to me, one of those movements where in 2 months from now, when we're talking about, or however many months from now, when we're in phase 1 and we start to talk about like little things like movement efficiency, the smallest little things like your footwork in a burpee, like the dumbest, most basic movement ever. and people don't pay attention to how they're moving, what their footwork looks like. Are you always stepping up with the same foot so your right side's going to explode, your back's going to blow up in a workout like this? I did however many burpee box jump overs there were. 75. I did 75. I did 75 different burpee box jump overs tonight, and it was kind of miserable. I really couldn't get into a rhythm, which should be a better movement for me. And there was an element of just like I was again kind of running your race, which was my race, which was your race, which was my race at the beginning. But and then by the time my heart rate was jacked up, it was difficult to focus on that. So definitely maybe take a few minutes to hopefully hone that in. After a year of not really paying a ton of attention to it myself, or maybe just not doing it under high enough intensity, I paid for it with just like some inefficient footwork and step over, like come off the box, some weird pivots. Like I was all over the place. So that's maybe more an ode to just like, hey, in the off season, those little things are going to in this workout, that makes a big difference.
Leaderboard's going to be crowded on this one. This is not, 17.1 was an unknown. There is absolutely positively nothing unknown about this workout, and it's a repeat, right? So you think about these things and they do feel kind of dumb, and it does feel like, oh God, I got to go work on my muscle ups right now. I got to go work on my, squat snatch. These things don't give you the opportunity to show off that other work. And, we always have, we had athletes last week really struggle with the double unders, and it's like, hey, those things matter a lot. Wall balls and double unders and burpee footwork and all that. And it's, it plays into the how you do anything is how you do everything. Yep. If you put that level of care into it, you're going to have an opportunity to show your fitness off. And that's really what we're looking for, right? Because like, yeah. And we're sitting here, we're doing a podcast right now about burpees and dumbbell snatches. And the point of it is to, sort of raise the level of seriousness when it comes to this workout, because it does feel simple. Sometimes people don't get that excited, about a redo. It's not some new sexy workout that they can do. And it's worth taking the time to stop and think about these things, because then you have this, sort of heightened sense of how do I do these movements? How do I do this workout? We saw it last week, people, I'm going to be one and done this year because I only need to be in the top 7,000 or whatever it is. BKG did the thing 3 times. He did it twice in one day. We had a bunch of redos around here from some really high level athletes. I fucking love that. I love that because you want people to compete. You want people to get back into that mode. You want people to be like, ravenous animals by the time quarterfinals shows up in this sort of preseason feel, knowing that you get to have those repeats. I think for someone that's that competitive, that's that good, it's kind of hard not to.
You have to realize the best athletes in the sport love competing, and they want to prove to you that they're the best in the sport for a reason, and they're not going to be like, it's good enough. If you have that mindset, you're going to be constantly stuck at maybe 85%.
It's going to show up in a real shitty place.
And then you look at someone who goes to a competition and it's like, well, on the qualifier, when I was at home and I was doing good, I thought I was going to come here and clean up and win a bunch of prize money. What happens? It's like, these people are out for blood. They don't care that they had a bad first attempt, and they don't care they did it one day ago. They're going to do it again because that opportunity to prove to themselves that they had more in the tank is what they're all about, and that's what separates them from everybody else. A lot of people are cool with the status quo. They're not. I mean, PKJ is a perfect example of that. His second time would have been still good for, I think, like top 60 or something like that, and he's like, no, I want top 20 or I want top 5. And he ended up, I think, like 14.
And it was the types of things like burpee footwork that he was talking about. He's like, when you have a workout like this with the wall walk taking so much time, one tiny little slip up and it's an issue. And it's no different with simple things like burpees and, remember to bend your legs in your dumbbell snatches.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot, kind of like that flipping of the switch and stuff like that. And it's, again, yeah. No, on the, statistically, your performance, you're probably good enough to be one and done, but you might not have that opportunity in quarterfinals. If you've got 8 workouts to do over 3 or 4 day weekend, like you might not be afforded that opportunity. And every time that you're able to be in a competitive setting before that and learn something is time well spent. And I can think like, we had affiliate athletes and just our even our competitive athletes here. It was just like, we learned something. The first time I did it, I was like, yeah, I felt good about that. And then I went and redid it and did like actually got in the good positions that we talked about after we had already done the workout. And I was like, oh, that was the easiest thing ever. I like learned, I was like, oh, because I've done 800 double unders in the course of 3 days, I learned a little bit of something about my double unders that normally aren't bad at all. But like, I was like, oh, like I learned something, and you can take that and move forward with it, you know, score be damned. So I have to have that mindset and like that killer instinct.
You do. And I think it's important to bring up anyone who struggled with 21.1. You have to decide who you are when you have that feeling. You know, the thing that we always bring up that's funny, I'm sure Sherb remembers this, Ted might remember it, Jeremy Shockey eating the dirt,
Yes.
eating a handful of dirt after the NFC championship game.
I'm going to eat some dirt right now.
Because he wanted to remember what it tasted like to lose. He's very literal.
He was the man. He was so great.
But just that mentality of what does that feeling do inside of your body when you know, I mean, you can kind of lose in the open, you know, if you're a, you know, perennial top 100 athlete and you take, you know, 500, 600, 700, 1,000 points, you're going to have that feeling. What does that do to you? What does that feeling make you feel sad? Does that feeling make you feel angry? Does that feeling, you know, create a fuel that burns so hot that the first time during your round of 30 dumbbell snatches, when you realize I'm here again, hello, how's it going?
Fuck.
Is it, I don't have it this year? Is that the first thing that pops into your head? Or it's like, you know, Sherby's cooked up, you know, 9,000 bite calories, rest 1 second, 9,000 bite calories so many times that I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to use it. I have that fire. I have that ability to dig down and take that emotion that kind of kicked my ass a little bit this week and put it into this workout, because it is a fuel and you can use it for yourself or it can work against you in a pretty extreme way. So definitely want to give a shout out to those athletes, because not being able to express your fitness is not.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a shame. I mean, you have an athlete who works so hard year round, does all the right things, has one bad workout and is like, oh, fuck, that was a waste. Like, no, you just learn something from that. What can you do? Can you watch your video? Can you figure out, did you take too many steps? Were you too far away from things? Did you decide that you had a moment of weakness? Whatever the reason was, whatever works for you, try to figure out how to take those lessons and turn them into things that you can then create, you know, positive change in how you're moving and how you can get a better score on your repeat. You know, I think the wall walk's such a great thing for that lesson, because it put everybody in a magnifying glass. None of us have done this. This is a scaled movement we put in place of handstand push-ups, and then so many athletes learned from themselves, all right, like, it's just another movement. I can figure this out. And that's what's so really cool about the CrossFit methodology, is that like this carryover of, I figured out how to handstand walk, or I figured out how to do a shoulder tap, or I figured out how to do a shoulder press, and that translates into another movement that is novel to you. Same thing can happen again, even with movements that you've already think you've mastered. Whenever you think you've mastered them, go back and figure out how can you be better at them. And this workout's a great example, because like you said, very simple. We're not talking about how to hit power position in a snatch or how to move around a barbell. It's, hey, you got to make sure you move the same every single time. You attack the movement the same every single time you hit it, and then move consistently the entire time, because there's just so much power in realizing that you can control all these things. And when you do that, that's when you have positive change. So
yeah, and you knock a few seconds off every round.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's, in a very practical sense. All right, before we wrap this up, we got a question on YouTube from Aiden Bailey. Would you say the burpee box jump over are like a row, in the sense of you won't win on the row, but you can certainly lose on it?
It's a good question. Aiden's the kid that was doing the snatches when you thought it was clean and jerks.
Sorry, man. Following the wrong program. You did great, dude. Didn't mean to troll on you. I was in a trolling mood.
Honestly, I would say it's, in this particular instance, in this workout, I do think this is a movement where you could lose the workout if you go too hot, too fast.
Yeah, I was going to say it's kind of like 19-1, the rowing and the wall balls.
Tempering that speed.
Yeah, the dumbbell snatches are done at one speed. Burpee box jump overs are not. You can certainly lose it by going too hot, but you can also be dog shit at it and also lose. So it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, it's you have to You have to take those early ones because of the time domain. You have to use that energy system a little bit, but then you have to be really gritty after that. When you settle in, you can't stop moving. Like, during the announcement, the biggest difference between Medeiros and Quant was sort of laboring through them and taking some extra steps and, going through positions that he normally wouldn't because, probably because he was fatigued and there's a bunch of cameras on him, right? True. It's a kind of a different situation when you don't know what the workout's going to be. Whereas Medeiros stayed dynamic and really just sort of focused on the way that he moved. So it's
very easy to turn 15 burpee box jumps from a 1 minute to 110 thing to a 130, right. Yes. And all of a sudden you just added a minute plus to your workout because you thought that was your sustained movement when
right.
It's not. I would say the dumbbell snatches are more that, unless you know that dumbbell is going to throw you around.
Yeah. I would say, for anyone in the, in the hatchet range that's doing this, really kind of fighting to get to the quarterfinals, the trick for me, the only thing that's ever worked, I hate burpees more than anything, is the down up has to remain dynamic. You touched on it a little bit earlier, sure, but just the idea of like, I can pop down and get right back up. Like you can always do that, and then you can sort of figure out what tempo you can handle with having that exact same footwork.
Yeah. For me, the burpee is always about kind of the same step over and over and over again, and really just thinking about breathing as you move through it. Because I think, like similar to a double under, if you hold your breath down, up, over the box, and then you take your breath when you get to the other side, you're going to be in trouble. So for me, that's that, again, preaching on it the entire podcast, but be methodical with how you move and just don't stop moving. Just know what your pace should be. And then when you get to the light at the end of the tunnel, send it.
True. Any final thoughts, gents?
I fucking love how both of these workouts, and I recognize it's part of a larger test. We will see the ring muscle ups and stuff like that come out in quarterfinals, presumably. But I fucking love that the first two workouts are just like everybody's worried about their 1 rep max power clean over the course of the year, trying to like
Sweet
refine
on IG,
their
bruh.
snatch and look at like I did 20 unbroken muscle ups, go do some wall climbs, burpee box jump overs, and dumbbell snatches. Like,
I mean, we've had proof of the CrossFit methodology being
fitter.
What it is for 10. This is the 11th year of it. Like, if you want to say a workout's no good or whatever, and then you keep seeing the same damn people at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
This is a good workout for sure.
Hell yeah.
I don't know that anyone would say it wasn't.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Don't forget, sharpentheaxecode.com. Buy one, get one free. Ooh. All Misfit Athletics print series tops. You can mix and match. Do what you got to do. If you would like to be added to the Misfit Takeover leaderboard, you need to go to your profile on games.crossfit.com, go to your custom leaderboard, and add the hashtag Misfit Takeover 2021. If I did not explain that correctly, you can head to the Misfit Athletics Instagram Reels. We got a nice little video that Ted made for you guys to figure out how to do that. Shout out to Ramwad once again, and I would say it's time for a proper recovery nightcap. You guys might need 4 scoops.
10
scoops. Laid it all out there on the line again. Head to properfuel.co. Use the code word Misfit to save on your very first order of your complete post-workout nutrition solution. 21.2 is in the books. We will be talking about it all weekend at Misfit Athletics on Instagram. Sure, you better hope it's a 9-parter next week.
I hope so.
We will see you then for 21.3.
Max deadlift, please.